Ye Chen was born a young master, living a life of privilege, but after being framed, he was forced to live like a dog, nursing a burning desire for revenge until his last breath. His body was discarded in a desolate temple. But this was no ordinary place, it was an ancient divine sanctuary. And when Ye Chen's blood touched the ground, a dragon tablet shattered, unleashing a seismic shockwave. From the ruins, a divine phoenix soared into the sky, engulfing Ye Chen in its brilliant, holy light. In that moment, he was granted a power that rivaled a Super Saiyan's. The phoenix transformed into a true fire and seared itself onto his forehead, flooding his body with an overwhelming force. Ye Chen screamed in agony as scorching ancient runes spread across his skin. Just as he reached his limit, the power finally submerged, becoming one with him. When Ye Chen awoke, he felt an incredible surge of power, as if he'd chugged a divine elixir. He even gained a new, feather-light companion. As if on cue, two of his old enemies appeared, giving Ye Chen the perfect chance to demonstrate his newfound might. They were stunned to see him alive. "Impossible!" they roared, lunging forward to attack. But Ye Chen had already snatched his new cat-like friend and dodged with ease. The creature purred, seemingly pleased with his new protector. The two enemies charged again, but their attacks were useless. Ye Chen toyed with them for a moment before vanishing, unleashing a wave of pressure that chilled them to the bone. Leaping into the air, he unleashed a careless kick, landing a double kill that sent their souls to the next life. He even feigned surprise at his own heavy-handedness. A quick check confirmed it. He had broken through to the body-tempering realm. A smirk crossed his face as he imagined his future as a supreme ruler. Now, the real festival of revenge could begin. Meanwhile, a prison warden was using Ye Chen's death as a grim warning to the slaves. But suddenly, a shadowy figure walked into the light. The warden's eyes widened in sheer terror. The very ghost he was just talking about now stood before him. Ye Chen had returned, and he was more dangerous than ever. Convinced it was a real person, the warden shouted for his men to attack. "No, I'll deal with this trash myself." Ye Chen remained unfazed, only slightly puzzled when his cat companion leaped away. The enemy, Ye Mu, lunged forward, aiming a deadly strike at his neck, but his blade sliced through empty air. In a flash, Ye Chen had appeared behind him. The man froze, not from fear, but from a devastating palm strike to his chest that he never even saw coming. As he crumpled to the ground, Ye Chen unleashed his aura, stunning the crowd. They watched in awe. The young master had reached the peak of the body-tempering realm. As the bald man struggled to his feet, Ye Chen prepared a finishing blow, but exerting so much power caused a backlash. Seizing the opening, the other enemy, Ye Biao, focused his wind energy into his fist and struck Ye Chen's dantian, sending him flying into a cliff face. Just as he thought it was over, Ye Chen subconsciously activated the heaven-devouring art, grabbing the bald man's head. Instantly, all of his opponent's vital energy surged into his own body. His wounds healed in a flash. With the guards defeated and the slaves freed, it was time to find his missing sister. Elsewhere, deep in a forest, a beautiful princess was running for her life. She was being hunted by assassins sent by her own elder brother. But her stunning beauty had ignited their lust. They planned to have their fun before carrying out their orders. Suddenly, a well-aimed stone stopped them in their tracks. It was none other than Ye Chen. Perched in a tree, he mocked the lecherous thugs. Against trash like them, a single leaf was more than enough. As one of them charged forward, Ye Chen dodged, channeling his aura into the leaf and launching it forward. The projectile was so powerful, it shattered the man's sword before piercing his stomach, killing him instantly. With the princess safe, Ye Chen started laying on the charm, infuriating the red-haired leader. "You dare ruin my fun?" he roared, lunging forward. Ye Chen continued to flirt for a few more seconds before finally turning his full attention to the battle. He was surprised by his opponent's speed and strength, which managed to land a solid hit, causing a massive shockwave. Thinking their target was finished, the thugs turned back to the princess, but another stone shot out, breaking one of their arms. From the smoke, Ye Chen emerged, looking completely unfazed. The time for games was over. He focused his true fire and unleashed the heaven-devouring art, moving like lightning to drain his enemy's life force completely. Fueled by this massive surge of energy, Ye Chen's aura exploded. He had broken through to the mid-stage chi refining realm. From a distance, his cat companion watched with a satisfied smile. Its master was progressing just as it had predicted. Ye Chen's speed had increased dramatically, and his body had become tougher than steel. After toying with the remaining thugs, he used the heaven-devouring art again. Its power had evolved. He could now absorb the energy of weaker foes without even making contact. Noticing the princess's admiring gaze, Ye Chen smugly declared he had already reached the late-stage chi refining realm. Just then, his cat reappeared. It instantly stole the spotlight, leaping into the most comfortable spot in the princess's arms. She, completely unaware, called it adorable. Only Ye Chen could see the sly look on the perverted cat's face. The princess quickly asked for his name, wanting to recruit him as her personal guard. But Ye Chen had to refuse. He had another mission to complete. First, he'd learned his sister was being held captive. Unable to persuade the handsome hero, the princess gave him a token of promise before they parted ways. His destination, the Ye family estate. It was Ye Chen's former home, now occupied by the very villains who framed him. His sister, Ye Linger, was being tortured in the dungeon for refusing to submit. The new young master, 𝑑𝒐𝒘𝒆𝒓, was furious at her defiance. Having exhausted all other means, he decided he would take her by force. But just as his filthy hand reached for her, he was startled by the sound of his guards collapsing outside. Ye Chen stepped through the door, his presence radiating pure vengeance. Linger's eyes filled with tears of joy. The cat, true to form, made a run for it. Seeing Ye Chen alive, the young master lunged forward, determined to kill him for good. Linger screamed for her brother to run. "He's become too powerful," she cried. He unleashed his raging bull technique, charging Ye Chen with the force of an earthquake. "A piece of trash like you dares to face me?" But when the dust cleared, the cell was empty. Ye Chen had already rescued his sister and was making a break for the exit. He didn't make it. A powerful blast of energy from the young master sent him flying. As the injured Ye Chen struggled, his enemy slowly approached. He kicked him, again and again, spewing insults while Ye Linger begged him to stop. A final, brutal kick slammed Ye Chen into a wall. His enemy had reached the peak of the qi refining realm. Ye Chen was completely outmatched. Before delivering the killing blow, the villain sneered, revealing he'd attained this power using the crouching dragon pill, a treasure stolen from Ye Chen's own father. This truth ignited a heaven-shaking fury within him. Instead of helping, he was knocked unconscious, and the villain turned his lustful eyes on Linger. Seeing the dire situation, the cat finally made its move, revealing its true form. It was an ancient, mythical beast. Long ago, it was this very creature that saved Ye Chen's life, shrinking its own body to follow the Chosen One. Now, it had come to save him once more. It leaped forward, raking its claws down his back, jolting him awake. In an instant, his eyes blazed crimson as the fiery spiritual energy in the air surged directly into him, through the wound left by the divine beast. The sudden transformation made the young master's face twist in terror at this overwhelming pressure. Once again, Ye Chen stood up, his body enveloped, in an incredibly terrifying killing intent. "You bastard. This time, you die." Instantly, the villain unleashed his own aura, his eyes changing color as he laughed. He would show this brat the true power of a peak qi refinement master. Pouring all his strength into a single fatal blow, he lunged straight for Ye Chen. But our hero met the attack head-on. The two techniques collided with a massive explosion. The aftermath left the villain pale with shock as his arm was shattered to pieces, flying from his body in a shower of blood. Ignoring the bastard's agonized screams, Ye Chen continued his assault, mercilessly stomping on the son of the man who destroyed his entire clan. Seeing her brother consumed by hatred, Linger desperately tried to reason with him, but it was useless. The flames of vengeance raged, causing Ye Chen to lose all control. He stomped the young master into an unrecognizable pulp, but the hatred within him only continued to skyrocket. Now more like a demon than a man, he leaped straight into the main hall, slaughtering every guard and servant inside. The screams echoed through the estate until evening, when only ruins remained. "You evil creature, stop!" A thunderous voice from behind forced him to pay attention. It was the three masters of the Ye family, all of whom had reached the divine connection realm. They unleashed their auras, ready to settle the score. They all used revenge as an excuse, vying to kill him. But in reality, they coveted the secret divine arts he possessed. Finally, the family head, Ye Tianhong, gave the most legitimate reason of all: to avenge his son, the young master. After threatening Ye Chen to hand over the technique, but with vengeance boiling in his blood, he ignored the demand completely. Ye Chen stomped his foot hard against the ground and launched himself forward, intending to kill all three masters. He ignored his sister's warnings about their immense power. Ye Tianhong unleashed his sun moon radiance, creating a colossal blade of true fire. The pressure was so immense that Ye Chen hesitated, but it was too late to retreat. The blade slammed down, crushing him and inflicting a severe wound. He coughed up blood, and only then did the crimson rage fade from his eyes. He now realized the overwhelming power of a late-stage divine connection realm expert. His sister rushed over when she saw Ye Chen, heavily injured and collapsed. Suddenly, an image of his father appeared in his mind. and Ye Chen recalled his words while teaching him archery. The purpose of martial arts isn't to become the strongest warrior in the world. The purpose of martial arts is to protect yourself and your family. His father's arrow then struck the bullseye, splitting the previous arrow clean in two, a feat that left him in complete awe. Back in reality, Ye Tianhong launched the giant blade once more to finish Ye Chen off, but now he had no strength left to dodge. Suddenly, his sister leaped in front of him, taking the full force of the blow and screaming in agony. The furious patriarch withdrew the technique, scolding her that she was still of use to the Ye family, and it wasn't her turn to die. A new wave of rage erupted, and the killing intent blazed in his eyes once more. He re-entered his slaughter mode, but the result was the same. He couldn't even touch a single hair on Ye Tianhong. Instead, he was met with a devastating kick that knocked him unconscious. The patriarch ordered 2 elders to take Linger away for treatment, since she was still useful. As for me, I will deal with this brat in the Serpent's Den, a place filled with venomous snakes raised by the clansmen, using various poisonous creatures. It was a punishment for criminals of the Ye clan. Anyone thrown in would suffer a slow, agonizing death, a fate worse than living. After all, his threats to transfer the technique failed, and he was met only with curses. The patriarch angrily kicked him into the abyss, leaving him for dead. And just as he had predicted, the moment Ye Chen landed, venomous snakes swarmed him. They coiled around their prey, constricting him until he passed out once again. When the situation seemed hopeless, the cat sprung into action. It leaped down into the pit, instantly returning to its true form, a massive, divine beast. With a single deafening roar, it drove every last snake off of Ye Chen's body. The divine beast then touched its claw to his forehead. An emblem on his skin began to glow brightly, activating the immortal slaying arts and draining the primal energy of all the snakes nearby. All of them used their remaining strength to crawl toward a cave, where a pair of menacing red eyes glowed in the darkness. It was the demon Serpent King. Upon seeing the divine beast, it immediately recognized its ancient foe, the one who had slaughtered its ancestors. Knowing it was no match now, it lunged straight for the helpless Ye Chen to exact its revenge, but it was a step too slow. The divine beast clamped its jaws around its neck, killing it instantly. In the end, the primal soul of the 10,000 demon Serpent King merged with Ye Chen's true fire and was absorbed completely. This time, Ye Chen awoke at dawn, shocked to find himself still alive, with a giant corpse right beside him. He checked his body and discovered his wounds were completely healed. What's more, he had broken through to the spirit condensing realm, a stunning surprise. But with no time to waste, he rushed off to save his sister, Linger. At that moment, she had also just woken up, much to the delight of her handmaiden. A relieved Ye Tianhong immediately tightened the security, guarding her even more closely, before sending her to the imperial palace. This obstacle made a direct approach impossible for Ye Chen, so he sought another way. He took advantage of the moment the imperial guards were exhausted from working too many shifts and snuck into a massive tower. Inside were countless scrolls and books on cultivation techniques. He pointed out to the cat that this was the legendary Shadow Transfer Orb. It's an artifact used to transmit techniques, allowing one to absorb the images with their spiritual soul. It was unbelievably rare and priceless. While wondering how to obtain it, a voice from behind made him jump. The guardian of the tower immediately recognized him as the son of the previous family head. He then showed him a secret path, to ascend by stepping on the books themselves. Strangely, with every book he stepped on, he could instantly comprehend the martial art within it. However, the higher he climbed, the heavier the pressure became. It prevented Ye Chen from jumping normally, forcing him to take slow, difficult steps. With immense effort, he reached the 4th and 5th floors. Suddenly, a phantom leopard appeared and attacked him. But with his unyielding will, Ye Chen stood his ground and activated his protective aura. Finally, he reached the 7th floor. Here sat a single blue pearl, the clan's sacred technique. Just as he reached for it, the old guardian stopped him, explaining that there was still one final test, a bloodline examination. Seeing the complex procedure, Ye Chen almost gave up, but having come this far, he had no other choice but to continue. The old man chanted an incantation. Instantly, a beam of blue light shot out from the pearl, shining directly on Ye Chen. Using his divine sight to observe, the guardian gasped, shocked at what he saw. Ye Chen possessed a legendary supreme bloodline, still dormant within him. The old man recognized this once-in-a-millennium genius and decided to help Ye Chen fully awaken his power. Following the elder's guidance, he placed his hand upon the Alliance Pearl. Instantly, a colossal aura in the shape of a dragon elephant burst forth, surging directly into him. it shot straight into his spiritual center. Sitting in a meditative stance, his body began to burn like a furnace, arcs of lightning crackling around him. The human body is composed of 8.4 billion microparticles, and awakening, each one grants the power of a dragon and an elephant. If all were to awaken, one could shake the heavens and earth, overturning rivers and seas. Nothing would be impossible. After he had fully absorbed the technique, the elder gifted him a set of robes as a farewell present. This azure garment was as light as silk, capable of deflecting half of all blade attacks. Ye Chen was thrilled. It even made him look more distinguished. By now, night had fallen. He observed his surroundings for a moment, and decided to use a breach to slip into the dungeon, unaware of the grave danger that awaited him inside. The moment he stepped through, he came face to face with Ye Qingtian, hailed as the #1 genius of the Ye clan. Before finishing Ye Chen off, he decided to reveal a shocking secret. To the world, our Ye family is merely a powerful martial clan, but in reality, we have been guardians of the imperial bloodline since ancient times. The Grand Prince is about to ascend the throne, taking control of everything. But your father was a fool who couldn't read the tides of change. He refused to open the imperial mausoleum, all because of a piece of trash like you. So, the next one destined to open it is your sister, Ye Linger. Now, it's time for you to meet your maker. Ye Qingtian unleashed a volley of poisoned hidden weapons, but Ye Chen was prepared, using stones he had concealed to deflect every single one. However, it wasn't that simple. The deflected weapons suddenly erupted into a cloud of toxic smoke, spreading rapidly through the air. Forced back by the fumes, Ye Chen had no choice but to retreat. Seeing his plan unfold, the genius shot forward to block his path. All he needed was to stall for a few more moments. Just a single breath of the poison would leave Ye Chen paralyzed, suffocating him to death. But to his shock, they clashed for nearly an hour, and Ye Chen showed no signs of being affected. He had no idea that Ye Chen had absorbed the venom of the demonic serpent, making him immune to all poisons. Enraged, he unleashed the frozen snow art. This is a heavenly tier technique, he boasted, forming massive ice shards that hurtled toward Ye Chen. Heavenly technique? Don't make me laugh! Ye Chen roared in contempt, unleashing his own dragon elephant prison-suppressing force. A ferocious aura erupted from his body, so powerful it shattered the ceiling above. Saving his sister was the priority. Ye Chen ignored his foe and leaped out, only to find he'd jumped from one trap straight into another. 3 clan heads were lying in wait. Seeing this, the cat sighed in exasperation, knowing it would have to save its reckless master again. Ye Tiansheng used his signature move, summoning a colossal blade of energy. It flew straight towards Ye Chen, who stood his ground without a trace of fear. He channeled all his power for a direct confrontation, ready to risk it all. Just as the 2 cataclysmic attacks were about to collide, the princess appeared, stopping them both in their tracks. Ye Tiansheng was stunned to see her alive. After all, the assassination plot against her had been his own design. When the princess declared Ye Chen as her savior and personal guard, the conspirators' faces went pale. They never imagined it would be him, times of all people. Ye Qingtian quickly warned his father, "If we don't kill Ye Chen now, we may never get another chance." The clan head agreed, turning to the princess. "Your Highness, allow me to dispose of this man. He is far too dangerous." Seeing their blatant defiance, the princess's elder guard stepped forward. "How dare you disrespect the Qingting princess? Do you have a death wish, or is someone powerful backing you?" Unfazed, the clan head insisted he would eliminate Ye Chen today. This enraged the elder, who unleashed his aura, forming a giant black crow that lunged at Ye Tiansheng. Unflinching, the clan head summoned his own sun-moon radiance to meet the attack. Seeing the explosive situation, Ye Chen interjected, challenging Ye Qingtian to a formal duel. "In 3 months' time, we settle this." Goaded by the challenge and overconfident in his genius status, he convinced his father to agree, certain that the underdog stood no chance. With the duel set, the 3 were able to leave safely. The cat, upon seeing the princess, looked like it had struck gold and flew over to get her attention, only to be blocked by a small fox. "Zhuo Wu, my old friend. It's been a while." It was a heavenly dog, a childhood friend of Zhuo Wu, who was fated to follow and protect the princess. Zhuo Wu thought to himself, the 3 great divine beasts are about to gather. This signals a world-shaking event is coming. All that's missing now is the tortoise general, but who knows when it will appear. After returning to the imperial palace, Ye Chen trained relentlessly. He had 3 months to prepare for his duel. He had already mastered the introductory level of the dragon elephant demon subduing art, and a portion of his spiritual points had awakened. His power had already leaped to another level, Meanwhile, the princess visited him every 3 days. Watching her interactions with the young man, the elder knew instantly that she had fallen for him. Seeing Ye Chen's immense talent, the elder offered his guidance, advising him to use a dragon transformation pill to aid his training. But the princess immediately objected. The dragon transformation pill is a heavenly treasure, but its energy is incredibly violent. If the refinement process fails, he'll be crippled for life. 8 out of 10 who attempt it perish. But Ye Chen agreed without a moment's hesitation. The elder, impressed by his bravery, suggested he refine the pill at the blood pool for safety. The next day, when the elder and the princess arrived, they saw Ye Chen had already been there for a long time, deep in meditation. The princess watched with a heart full of worry, but their 2 animal companions couldn't care less, bickering loudly nearby. Suddenly, Ye Chen's body began to glow, radiating an intense heat. A whirlwind of energy formed around him, and he suddenly coughed up blood. The elder realized his qi and blood were flowing in reverse. Ye Chen desperately tried to fight it by absorbing the essence from the blood pool. Yet, in this critical moment, Zhuo Wu calmly took a nap, ignoring his master's agonized screams. This sent the heavenly dog into a panic. But just as predicted, a moment later, Ye Chen's body stabilized. He had successfully broken through to the next realm. However, the higher one climbs, the greater the pressure of each breakthrough becomes. Enduring immense pain, Ye Chen forced his way into the middle stage of the spirit condensation realm. To test his newfound power, he immediately challenged Pang Yungang, the commander of the South Courtyard Guards. This man was at the peak of the spirit condensation realm, a level above Ye Chen. While he was smugly underestimating his opponent, he was shocked to see Ye Chen vanish right before his very eyes. An instant later, a powerful kick landed square on his backside. The stinging pain was unbearable. No longer underestimating his foe, Commander Pang vowed to get serious revenge. He immediately unleashed the fierce tiger fist, lunging forward with a menacing aura. In response, Ye Chen executed the mysterious pomegranate subduing art to counter. A full-powered blow sent Ye Chen stumbling back several steps. But Commander Pang was blown completely off the stage. How could that kid's power suddenly surge like that? Extremely pleased, the old elder decided to test the young man further and stepped onto the stage. Boy, the dragon transformation pill's power is as dense as a mountain. Inside your body, there must be some blockage. I will use my own energy to strike your meridians and clear them. As the elder's immense power surged into him, Ye Chen felt his own qi and blood being violently thrown into chaos. Despite the agony of 10,000 needles piercing him from within his skin, he endured, asking Elder Mo for even more. Elder Mo was stunned by this insane willpower, but Zhou Wu knew better, mocking him. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. A moment later, Ye Chen couldn't take it anymore. The princess rushed forward to catch him, frantically calling for people to prepare healing medicine. The old man could only sigh. The one who truly needed a cure was the princess herself, for her lovesickness. Just then, suggestive moans echoed from the princess's room. The heavenly dog outside, hearing them fool around, grew incredibly jealous and kicked down the door. But they were just treating his injuries. Zhou Wu seized the chance to mock the heavenly dog. Your imagination is running wild again. As Ye Chen massaged the princess's leg, he learned a crucial piece of information. The dragon elephant demonic art he practiced still had a second chapter, but its location remains a mystery, one that even the great crown prince is desperately searching for. Meanwhile, at the Ye Manor, Ye Linger was gazing at the moon as she did every night, weeping silently for her father and younger brother. Suddenly, the chilling laughter of Ye Qingtian echoed from behind, making her skin crawl. He moved closer to her. No need to cry so soon, he whispered, because in the coming duel, that brat Ye Chen won't survive. He then murmured something that filled Linger with terror. With a final haunting laugh, he left. Once he was gone, she opened her palm. Inside lay a poison needle. I will make you die by your own hidden weapon. Back at the royal palace, Ye Chen trained diligently with the commander. After a fiery exchange of powerful blows, Wen Gang was finally forced to call for a short break. Although Ye Chen was also panting, his fighting spirit was still burning. The moment he let his guard down, Wen Gang played dirty, using Monkey Fist to strike both of Ye Chen's family jewels. This sneak attack sent a wave of pain so intense he thought they had shattered. It was payback for the hemorrhoid treatment incident. The two immediately clashed again, fighting for 5 whole days. With neither side gaining an edge, they resorted to every dirty trick in the book. Ye Chen, with a swollen mouth, cursed the filthy man for spitting, but he was no saint either, having bitten Wen Gang like a dog, who cursed him right back. After 10 more days, Ye Chen's skills had far surpassed Wen Gang's, forcing the commander to beg the old man for help. "Give me some secret techniques to deal with him, or I'll lose all my face." But the elder replied, "Ye Chen is blessed by a great destiny. There is no shame in losing to him." Meanwhile, the two divine beasts used their precious free time to bicker before the great battle that was approaching. The bewitching, heart-protecting heavenly elephant, a great omen foretelling disaster. The heavenly dog explained that Elder Mo had woken him to protect the princess, while Zhou Wu was awakened by Ye Chen. "1,000 years ago, I aided the great Yu immortal emperor in sealing the heavenly demon Xiang Liu. I died from exhaustion right after, but not before predicting that if trouble arose, a successor would appear to bear the burden." Looking at Ye Chen, Zhou Wu was more certain than ever. This was the successor the immortal emperor spoke of. As the day of the duel neared, the old man realized that while Ye Chen's techniques were superb, his real combat experience was lacking. "Starting today, you will fight a demonic beast. This is a Zheng beast from the western mountains. It is incredibly fast, and its scales are nearly impenetrable. You will fight it, to temper your body. Even I, the commander, cannot defeat this beast. Let's see what you're truly made of." And indeed, the beast's power was terrifying. It shrugged off many of Ye Chen's blows without a scratch. Despite its size, it moved with blinding, godly speed, forcing Ye Chen onto the defensive. But playtime was over. He leaped into the air, unleashing the soaring dragon elephant fist. A single punch, weighing 1,000 tons, slammed the beast into unconsciousness. Witnessing this, Wen Gang was shaken. The power of his fist had truly awakened. 2 days later, the princess received orders to attend an old general's birthday banquet. This time, only Ye Chen and Wen Gang would accompany her as guards. The moment the princess saw Ye Chen, all cleaned up, she couldn't tear her eyes away. Only after a long moment did she enter the carriage, holding her cat, which made the heavenly dog furious. "How dare that thick-skinned squirrel steal my spot?" When the carriage stopped, the old general's son, Wang Tianyi, eagerly came out to greet the princess. This man, relying on his powerful backing, acted without restraint, calling himself the Little Overlord. Even Commander Wen Gang was wary of him. The moment the princess stepped inside, the lecherous beast rushed forward, ready to devour her. But before his hand could touch her, it was caught in a vice-like grip that made him grimace in pain. How is this servant so strong? Unwilling to lose face, he sneered at Ye Chen. "You dare meet your master without bowing and wagging your tail?" He immediately ordered his lackeys to execute him, but as their swords struck, they felt like noodles hitting an iron wall. Realizing this man was no easy target, he feigned peace, apologizing to the princess while secretly signaling his men. A sinister plot was already in motion. The two guards were stopped outside, as attendants had to sit in a separate area. Ye Chen was worried, but the princess reassured him. "Don't worry, little Bai is with me." Zhou Wu looked at the smug dog, who had reclaimed its warm spot, and doubted it could protect the princess at all. Just as Ye Chen had feared, the princess was led to a locked room. The heavenly dog was trapped inside a box and sealed shut. Inside, the vile pervert Wang Yi was waiting, and he lunged to embrace her. "His Majesty will soon make me the royal son-in-law," he declared. This is just speeding up the process. But his vile plans were cut short. In an instant, the heavenly dog smashed a massive hole through the wall, saving the princess in the nick of time. Seeing the giant divine beast, he trembled in fear, unable to recognize the small puppy he had just locked up. He shrieked for his guards to kill the creature, but faced with such an overwhelming aura, who would dare move? "You foolish insects. I am a divine beast. You are the animals. Not me," the heavenly dog declared. With a single swipe, it left a few claw marks on his face as a souvenir for messing with a dog, then leaped outside with the princess. Hearing the commotion, Ye Chen turned just in time to see the princess on a giant beast, surrounded by soldiers. He immediately channeled the dragon elephant fist, but the princess quickly stopped him. "Ye Chen, don't attack. Get on." The divine beast swiftly carried all three of them away, leaping over the walls towards the palace. The enraged Wang Yi could only watch them go, screaming, "I will have my revenge for this." Back at the princess's residence, the heavenly dog had brought everyone back safely. The princess, overwhelmed by shock, had fainted. When she awoke, she finally realized the heavenly dog by her side was a divine beast. A flash of understanding hit Ye Chen as he looked over at the squirrel, who was putting on an act of pure innocence. The heavenly dog shot at a look of pure contempt. "Keep pretending, you monster." It was truly the pot calling the kettle black. Still reeling from the incident, she wanted to report everything to the emperor and condemn him. But Mo Lao knew this was a terrible idea, as the first prince now held all the power. He controlled the imperial court, a shadow looming over everything. Wang Tianyi only dared to act this way because the first prince had his back. Furthermore, with General Wang Meng and his 200,000 troops, now sidelined by a grave illness, the general was powerless to intervene. To protect the great Song dynasty, the emperor might be forced to marry the princess, to that very same Wang Tianyi. Offending these powerful villains now would mean certain doom. Mo Lao urged the princess to make a strategic retreat. They would hide at her mother's old home, the Zhujian mountain villa, and wait. Once Ye Chen defeated the tyrant Ye Jingtian, they could plan their next move. The very next day, they departed in haste. Traveling in secret without any guards, Ye Chen couldn't help but worry about demonic beasts. But Wen Gang was full of confidence, claiming his fists could make any beast extinct. Just as he spoke, a powerful gust of wind carrying a murderous aura swept towards them. Mo Lao cried out in alarm, warning everyone of a condensation realm, demonic beast. The two divine beasts assessed that its raw power wasn't a major threat, but its techniques were something to be wary of. Ye Tian, with his experience in the wilds, recalled a local saying. The villagers had a saying: first the beasts, second the wolves, third the tigers, but the wild boar is the most terrifying of all. They had impenetrable hides, lightning speed, and what's more, their strength was practically limitless. Even a master of the spirit ascension realm would have trouble dealing with one. Hearing this, a wave of fear washed over the group, but fate had already made its move. A monstrous boar charged down the mountain straight for them. Trees in its path were snapped like twigs. It was a colossal demonic beast, its 4 legs tipped with long claws, its mouth filled with razor-sharp fangs. Ye Chen and Wen Gang immediately leaped from their horses to face the beast, yelling for the princess to stay safely in the carriage. Instantly, it lunged. It shot towards Ye Chen with incredible speed, making him narrowly dodge the attack. Even 2 against 1, they struggled immensely against the condensation realm creature. Mo Lao, from behind, unleashed a burst of energy to support them, but it seemed to have no effect. In fact, it only enraged the beast further. It was not only strong, it was also intelligent, immediately targeting the weakest person there, the princess. It shot towards her carriage. Ye Chen instantly blocked its path, unleashing his dragon elephant demon-subduing art with a powerful punch. A direct hit. He praised the guard's skills with one breath, then insulted him with the next. How dare he try to steal his flower? What was the meaning of this? Seeing the princess defend the guard, Xiao Cheng began to tease her, implying they had been close for a long time. Even the divine beasts could sense that he was a formidable rival for Ye Chen's affections. He led them to a teleportation area, producing a heart mirror pearl. After chanting an incantation, it expanded, enveloping the princess in a protective barrier. He turned to gloat. He arrogantly assumed Ye Chen had never even seen a teleportation array before. This array is powered by priceless spirit stones, he boasted. Since I only brought one, I suppose you'll never have the chance to experience it. The divine beasts almost choked. All this bragging over such a pathetic, low-grade array? The princess turned to comfort Ye Chen. My second brother means no harm, she said softly. I will wait for you at the top of the mountain. Mo Lao urged everyone to start walking, as it would take a full day to reach the summit. Before leaving, Xiao Cheng threw one last jab at Ye Chen. Someone of your low status will never see the light. In this lifetime, you shouldn't dream of eating swan meat. Fury burned within Ye Chen, but he knew he couldn't do anything about it. He was confident the princess would never care for such an arrogant man. Tiangqiu whispered to Zhou Wu, placing a bet that Ye Chen was jealous. Zhou Wu replied, Your dog eyes are surprisingly sharp. I don't know if he's jealous, but that little brat, Xiao Cheng, is really getting on my nerves. On this point, Tiangqiu wholeheartedly agreed. The 2 mischievous souls immediately began to conspire, plotting a way to punish him. Standing on the teleportation array, Xiao Cheng suddenly sneezed, feeling as if someone had just mentioned his name. The array brought the princess to Dibing Mountain. It had been a long time since she had seen this scenery, and her heart was deeply moved. Seeing this, Xiao Cheng, with a triumphant smirk, the young master mocked the boy named Ye Chen, saying he could climb his whole life and never witness such a sight. Just then, the comedic duo appeared, riding atop Xiaobai, shouting, Greetings, princess. The young master froze in shock, while the princess, absolutely delighted, demanded to ride with them. But Xiao Cheng hastily stopped her, warning that it was too dangerous. It's all right, I have Ye Chen to protect me, she said. She took his hand and leaped into his arms, leaving Wen Gang to enjoy the sweet public display of affection. Down below, Xiao Cheng was seething with rage. Mo Lao tried to comfort him, saying that matters of the heart cannot be forced, and that this young man had a very powerful background. Unwilling to listen, he narrowed his eyes, determined to defeat that mere guard. At that very moment, in the Ye family study, the two evil masterminds were hatching a sinister plot. They were preparing for the duel with Ye Chen, set to happen in a month and a half. The son showed his father the legendary concentric goo poison he had just found. The concentric goo poison has a male and female part. After consuming it, their bodies become one. With this demonic item, every punch he throws at a substitute, his sister, Linger, will feel the blow. After a loyal maid urgently reported this sinister plan to her, Linger resolved that she would not let him use her to harm her brother. She took one of Ye Tian's poison needles and plunged it straight into her own wrist. Gritting her teeth through the pain, she returned to the mountain villa. By now, Tiangqiu had brought everyone to their destination and returned to its smaller form. Seeing it panting heavily, Zhao Wu reminded it that only those who've reached the spirit ascension realm can fly on a sword. Now, do you see why I don't reveal my true form yet? Humph. You're still just a deep-minded old monster. Wengang, who already detested Xiao Cheng, waited for him to get closer before loudly mocking his teleportation array as slow and pathetic compared to Xiao Bai. Mo Lao thought this boy was growing more foolish by the day, unable to hide his true thoughts, and urged him to stop. He just scratched his head and said he was only trying to offer some feedback. He only shut his mouth when everyone glared at him. Xiao Cheng's anger, which had been simmering for a while, finally boiled over, especially seeing the princess so close with that low-class guard. He decided to invent a new rule. According to the rules here, outsiders who wish to enter must compete in a martial arts duel. What do you say, brother Ye Chen? Shall we have a little sparring match? The princess knew. He was just causing trouble. You're 2 whole realms higher than Ye Chen. This is clearly just an excuse to bully him, she scolded. He just smiled, trying to reassure the princess. I just want to test the guard's skills. If his martial arts are not proficient, how can he protect someone as precious as you? Ye Chen was about to refuse for the princess's sake, but this guy had been causing trouble for him since the very beginning. He might as well settle it this time. Seeing that he hadn't answered, the rival directly challenged him to a one-on-one fight, boasting that he would broaden his horizons. With his profound insight, he knew just how to reassure the princess that he could handle it. Ye Shen immediately accepted the challenge. As the two prepared to clash, Wengang, filled with anxiety, questioned old Mo about the outcome. But even he couldn't predict it. He walks the path of the sword, he noted, so his true power is always a level higher than his realm. Wengang was startled, realizing that in this duel, Ye Shen was facing a true martial artist who had just stepped into the divine power realm. The duel began. Tao Cheng instantly channeled his aura, gripping his sword and striking directly at Ye Shen, but the blade shattered upon impact. Impossible. His physical body can block my sword intent? He thought, shocked. Landing right in front of Ye Shen, he drew a hidden dagger and slashed at his stomach, drawing blood. The princess gasped in terror, her heart pounding with fear. She was terrified Ye Shen would lose his life in this battle. Tao Cheng launched a relentless assault, appearing to have the upper hand. But in reality, Ye Shen was effortlessly dodging every move. After a moment, seeing his opponent's unrelenting bloodlust, Ye Shen knew this couldn't continue. He gathered a sphere of energy, ready to teach him a painful lesson. Suddenly, a sword shot through the air, striking Tao Cheng's hand. The dagger clattered to the ground. The sword then flew back to its rightful owner, Tao Yushan. He was the young master of the Violet Sword Villa and Tao Cheng's older brother. He arrived just in time, scolding his sibling for treating a guest like an enemy, disgracing the villa's honor. The stubborn Tao Cheng argued back, claiming he just wanted to spar, but Tao Yushan saw right through his lie. Sparring? With techniques designed to kill? Tao Yushan then turned to Ye Shen, inquiring about the wound on his abdomen. Ye Shen calmly reassured everyone it wasn't deep and would heal in moments. Tao Yushan watched in amazement. The wound was already vanishing. He thought, this young man's age is deceptive. His background must be extraordinary. The Heavenly Hound seized the chance to comment again. That Ye Shen of yours has skin so tough that blades can't even scratch it. That pitiful slash was nothing more than a tickle. It seems even a fraction of the dragon-elephant demon-subduing art is incredible. After greeting Old Mo and Wengang, Tao Yushan asked about the young man. When he learned he was the princess's guard, named Ye Shen, Tao Yushan had a flash of recognition. You must be from the Ye clan of Blue Cloud City. Indeed, the young master's insight is sharp, unlike some people. Tao Cheng scoffed. A tiny place like Blue Cloud City is hardly worth my attention, he sneered. Tao Yushan cut him off. Silence! What do you know? The Ye clan of Blue Cloud City. Like our Tao family, are both martial arts families with legacies spanning hundreds of years. Old Mo added, the Ye clan is modest and has never established its own sect, but the masters within its house are as numerous as clouds in the sky. Take Ye Shen's father, for example. He reached the divine power realm in his teens. Hearing his father mentioned, Ye Shen's mind drifted back. He remembered his father teaching him martial arts as a child. He was only 7, but under his father's guidance, he quickly surpassed all his peers. His sister, Ye Linger, also loved training, but she would complain that their father never taught her, accusing him of favoritism because she was a girl. He would just laugh gently, joking that he was afraid she'd accidentally surpass her brother. Hearing that, she would smile and press him for a real answer. He would simply say, "You'll understand when you're older." Back in the present, it was late at night. Tao Cheng, fuming, couldn't sleep. He went to his older brother. "Why did you defend that brat today?" Tao Yushan calmly explained. "If I hadn't stepped in, you would have been the one to suffer." Still not understanding, Tao Cheng bristled. "You worry too much. Tomorrow, on Emperor's Blade Mountain, we'll see his true colors." The next morning, Tao Cheng eagerly volunteered to be the guide, leading everyone to Emperor's Blade Mountain. The princess explained, "This mountain is the petrified divine weapon of the ancient celestial emperor Da Yu." She took Ye Shen's hand excitedly. "Who knows, you might be able to sense something special here." But Tao Cheng had a different goal. He only brought them here to test Ye Shen's sword talent. As the group approached the mountain, shaped like a colossal sword, they could feel its ancient power. Legend says this is the Great Yu Sword, the petrified divine weapon of celestial emperor Da Yu. Our Violet Sword Villa was founded around the hilt of this very sword. But Ye Shen barely heard a word, the princess said. The moment he drew near, a strange, ethereal sound began echoing in his mind. Taking the opportunity, Tao Cheng shoved Ye Shen aside. He smugly praised the princess's vast knowledge. Our Tao ancestor comprehended the supreme sword art from this very mountain, founding the Violet Sword Villa and ascending to the pinnacle of the sword path. A tiny clan like yours from Blue Cloud City could never compare. The princess snapped. "Second cousin, if you keep targeting Ye Shen, I will ignore you completely. My dear cousin, I just want to open his eyes to the profound heritage of our Violet Sword Villa." Saying this, he stepped forward. He approached the mountain base and touched it. This great Yu sword can resonate with a swordsman's intent. Instantly, he channeled his aura directly into the mountain. Suddenly, brilliant rings of light began to appear, spreading all the way to the peak. A powerful wave of sword intent washed over them, shocking everyone. "I can't believe it. In just a few years, young Master Tao has comprehended such profound sword intent." But he wasn't finished. Drawing his own sword, he infused it with power and chanted an incantation. Instantly, a majestic purple aura radiated from the blade. He roared, "Grandmaster Sword Intent. This proves I am destined to become a Grandmaster of the Sword Path." The Heavenly Hound, unimpressed, whispered, "Him? A Grandmaster? Seriously?" At that moment, Jun Gu, who had been deep in thought, seemed to awaken. He ignored the question and informed the Hound, "This is the very sword Emperor Yu used to slay the serpent demon." He then glanced at Ye Shen, wondering if the boy could sense anything at all. After his grand display, Tao Cheng turned back to Ye Shen, boasting about how he could resonate with the great Yu sword. But Ye Shen paid him no mind, which infuriated him. He had put on a massive show, and the brat hadn't even looked his way. The strange sound in Ye Shen's head was growing louder, causing him immense pain. Seeing Tao Cheng's smugness, Wen Gang decided to try as well. But as he channeled his aura into the mountain, the flicker of sword intent that appeared was as thin as a soap bubble before vanishing. Tao Cheng roared with laughter, calling Wen Gang useless. Angered, Wen Gang shot back, "Don't get too cocky." Just then, Wen Gang jumped as Old Mo called out, wanting to see Ye Shen privately. Worried, he asked the princess, "His Highness, he seems very angry." But the princess reassured him, "Don't worry, he has always looked out for you." Feeling more at ease, Ye Shen led Wen Gang away. After walking a short distance, the old man spoke. "Your clan was one of the few lucky enough to survive that great war. Back then, a terrible catastrophe occurred. Several great martial families were annihilated, creating rivers of blood and endless resentment. In those days, a blue sky, like this one, was impossible to see." Wen Gang, "What did your grandfather tell you his greatest hope was for you?" The young man scratched his head nervously. "Old Mo, why are you suddenly asking about this?" But when the old man turned, his eyes burning with a grave intensity, the memory returned. He hoped that I could lead our clan back to its former glory. Days ago, Elder Mo's voice was gentle, yet it carried a hidden warning for Van Kwang. If you lack the will to cultivate, when will you ever earn the spirit's acceptance? How will you carry the hopes of our clan? Think carefully. Those words struck a deep chord, leaving Van Kwang frozen in place. The spirit of regression was an ancient, divine weapon, an heirloom of the Pang clan. Only those with the Pang bloodline could hope to wield its power. After their long talk, Ye Chen turned to the princess, asking about Van Kwang's background, but even she was in the dark. At Xiao Cheng's urging, he stepped forward to try his luck with the Great Yu sword. The moment his hand made contact, the sound in his head intensified. Suddenly, a massive shockwave erupted. It spread across the entire mountain manor, reaching even Xiao Shan's estate. The manor lord himself, Xiao Qing, took notice and ordered Xiao Shan to investigate the situation immediately. Soaring on his sword, Xiao Shan raced to the scene. For 1,000 years, the Great Yu sword had remained silent. He wondered if today, a legendary event was unfolding. As he approached the crowd, he noticed something odd. That ridiculously thin cat emanated a strange aura, but brushing it aside, he questioned Elder Mo about the disturbance. Before the elder could speak, Xiao Cheng quickly spoke up. He proudly claimed the phenomenon as his own doing. Xiao Shan just smirked, chiding his 3-year-old brained brother. You started training at 3. After more than 10 years, you've touched that sword so much it's worn smooth. And still, not a single reaction. His words ignited a fury in Xiao Cheng, who glared at Ye Chen. If it wasn't me, don't tell me it was this piece of trash. Just then, the tremors returned. This time, they were far more powerful. The sword mountain rumbled violently before cracking wide open. From the largest fissure, 8 words of light appeared. The Emperor's blade emerges. The age of chaos nears. Immediately after, the Great Yu sword shot out from the ground like a rocket, soaring into the sky. It paused, spinning as it gradually shrank into a perfectly sized blade. Then came a thunderous boom and a blinding flash of light. The sword shot towards the crowd. Xiao Cheng was certain it was coming for him. He confidently held out his hand to receive it. But to his shame, the sword shot right past him and stopped directly in front of Ye Chen, as if choosing its master. Everyone was left utterly speechless. The instant his hand touched the hilt, an overwhelming sword intent exploded outwards in a blinding flash. Even the manor lord, Xiao Qing, had to shield his eyes from afar. He still had no idea what was truly happening. Holding the sword, Ye Chen was still lost in a daze, stunned by the immense power flowing into him. He admired the blade, ignoring the enraged screams of Xiao Cheng, who accused him of stealing his divine weapon. Xiao Cheng immediately lunged forward to take it back, but before Ye Chen could even react, the sword acted on its own, blasting him away. Xiao Shan rushed to his brother's side, only to find him severely wounded, coughing up blood. At that moment, Xiao Qing arrived, warning his reckless son to stop before he got himself killed. Xiao Shan stared at the father he hadn't seen in ages, guessing the commotion had forced him out of seclusion. The manor lord approached Ye Chen. Without a word, he reached out to touch the sword. But even with his supreme cultivation, he couldn't. Xiao Qing realized the Emperor's blade had just claimed its master and wouldn't allow others to touch it. His face grew stern as he asked Ye Chen what he was feeling. The young man explained that the intense surge of power had already faded. The manor lord then asked Ye Chen to channel his own energy into the sword, but it remained dormant. Turning to Elder Mo, he learned of the 2 lines of text that appeared when the blade emerged. As Xiao Cheng recited them, a chill ran down the manor lord's spine. He looked to the heavens, the prophecy of the age of chaos. It's true. The 2 divine beasts, who had been watching in silence, now wore grave expressions. The situation was far more serious than anyone imagined. Xiao Qing led them back to the main hall, but only allowed Ye Chen to enter for a private meeting, leaving the others outside. The princess asked worriedly, but not even Xiao Shan knew the reason. He wondered, silently, "Father, is something terrible really about to happen?" As the tension mounted, Xiao Cheng, oblivious as ever, turned to the princess. "I don't get it. Why do you even pay attention to that brat?" Wuzi was getting sick of this guy's arrogance. Clearly, he hadn't been beaten enough. Inside, Xiao Qing revealed a hidden past to Ye Chen. "Your father and I were training partners, brothers in hardship. What happened to him was a great tragedy. He was a man of immense righteousness. He once hoped you would join my Purple Sword Mountain Manor. Looking back now, he must have foreseen this." Ye Chen accepted without hesitation, delighting the manor lord. After a long discussion, they finally emerged. From this day forward, he announced, Ye Chen is an initiated disciple of our manor. Xiao Shan, take him and get him settled. Hearing this, Xiao Cheng vehemently protested, infuriating his father. "You insolent brat. From now on, you will address Ye Chen as second senior brother, you hear me?" The heavens had finally answered. The shameless pest was now officially beneath Ye Chen. Van Kwang felt a pang of envy. This kid's luck was simply too good. Elder Mo cut in, telling Van Kwang that from now on, he too must train harder alongside Ye Chen. Meanwhile, at elder sister Ye's room, Ye Tian kicked the door open and stormed in. Finding nothing, he scowled to himself. I felt that massive tremor. Was I mistaken? Ye Linger, you better not be plotting anything, or I'll make sure Ye Chen dies without a grave. Hiding her injured hand, she retorted with fury in her eyes. Ye Chen will be perfectly safe, but in her heart, she swore. The one who will die without a grave is you. Yi Chen! A panicked scream echoed across the manor. It was Xiao Cheng, staring in horror at the bottomless chasm. Whether by accident or on purpose, he had pushed Ye Chen over the edge. The image of him splattering against the rocks made Xiao Cheng tremble, his father's fresh warning ringing in his ears. Do not touch Ye Chen. He is of vital importance to us. If anything happens to him, you will answer to me. A genius idea struck him. While no one was looking, he'd make a run for it. The nearby guard watched with a pale face, thinking, I guess I don't count as a person. Just as he was about to flee, a loud shout stopped him cold. From the abyss below, Ye Chen was being pulled upward by the divine sword, which glowed with a brilliant golden aura. He shot from the bottom of the chasm to the top in an instant. He landed with flawless grace. Disbelieving his own eyes, Xiao Cheng asked a foolish question. You're not dead? Ye Chen confirmed it. Are you disappointed? Enraged, Xiao Cheng drew his sword, unleashing his one force to shatter 10,000 laws technique. A colossal sword aura materialized, looking absolutely menacing. But the moment it touched Ye Chen, it simply shattered. The backlash sent Xiao Cheng coughing up blood once more. Fine. You're the first person to ever force me to use my real sword. With a wave of his hand. A massive hammer? No. A colossal greatsword flew from the heavens and into his grasp. He admired the long, thick blade, a smug grin on his face. The bloodthirsty sword from my Xiao family's sword tomb was forged from 1,000-year-old mystic iron. It is incomparably sharp. Ye Chen, even if your body is tough as steel, my sword will slice you into ribbons. Before the duel began, Ye Chen asked curiously, What did I ever do to you, that you're so determined to see me dead? Xiao Cheng roared in fury. Your very existence is an eyesore. The moment you appeared, everything changed. He then channeled his energy and lunged forward, exploding into a dozen after-images that surrounded his opponent. Ye Chen was besieged by a storm of sword strikes, struggling to defend himself. Now die. My cousin belongs to me. Suddenly, Xiao Cheng leaped high into the air and dove straight down, aiming his blade right at Ye Chen. He quickly parried the blow, but as their swords were about to meet, Xiao Cheng revealed a sinister smile, unleashing countless blades of pure sword intent. They shot out in every direction, homing in on Ye Chen. Though caught by surprise, he managed to dodge. But Xiao Cheng was relentless, pressing his assault while boasting, At the mere age of 12, I could already command 20 blades of sword intent. With Ye Chen desperately fending off the spectral blades, Xiao Cheng saw his opening and seized it. He landed a direct hit, plunging his sword deep into Ye Chen's chest. But to his utter shock, Ye Chen dropped his own weapon. With fury in his eyes, he grabbed the blade, piercing him, his hand gushing blood. He ripped the sword out himself, bellowing, You who court death cannot blame me for being merciless. In a flash, he was upon his foe, grabbing his throat as easily as snatching a chicken, and unleashed his Wei Xianjue art. Xiao Cheng's body visibly withered, his life force being drained away before their very eyes. Ye Chen, stop! The princess screamed from behind, as the others finally arrived. But he didn't seem to hear them. He was lost in a berserker rage, completely out of control. Zhou Wu instantly flew forward, striking with a technique that paralyzed Ye Chen. Thanks to this, the pathetic Xiao Cheng was freed, though he was now a dried-up husk, devoid of all vitality. After a moment, Ye Chen's eyes were still blazing crimson. Zhou Wu explained, Any cultivation art that seeks rapid progress risks creating a demonic heart. Horrified, the princess ran to Ye Chen's side, grabbing his hand to check on him, but her own life force immediately began to drain away. No, this is Her Highness, the princess. I have to stop. A glimmer of reason remained within him. Feeling this, the princess moved closer, encouraging him. You have to hold on. Fight it. But the power was overwhelming. Ye Chen began to tremble violently before forcefully shoving the princess away. The situation was too dangerous. Yun Gong rushed in, holding Ye Chen down with all his might, as the princess shouted a purifying mantra. Let a clear heart be like water. A spiritual altar be like ice. Every word she spoke seemed to inflict immense pain on Ye Chen, forcing him to his knees. After a long moment, the crimson in his eyes slowly faded, replaced by a clear, azure blue. He had overcome the cultivation deviation. Tianju finally realized how truly powerful the princess was to be able to banish such demonic energy. You useless mutt, it's a little late to realize that now. Ye Chen looked over at Xiao Cheng's motionless body. Guilt-ridden, he told the princess, if not for you, I would have drained him completely. How could I ever face my master after that? She immediately reassured him. Don't worry, I'll explain everything to the state master. Mo Lao examined the young master and declared his sword heart had been shattered and his cultivation destroyed. It seemed he would never be able to practice again. Everyone fell silent, watching clan master Xiao Hao kneel beside his son. But remarkably, he was a man of reason. He examined Xiao Cheng for a moment, then calmly told everyone he was fine. In fact, ending up like this might be for the best. I have other arrangements for you, my son. As Ye Chen stepped forward to apologize, the clan master stopped him. It's all right. This will teach him that beyond the mountains, there are more mountains, and beyond the heavens, there are other heavens. No one in this world is truly above everyone else. Xiao Cheng, who had been conscious for some time, listened with tears streaming down his face, unable to speak. In another place, at Shaoxi Mountain, a demonic hand suddenly reached out from a dark cave. One by one, it snatched members of a nearby group, gripping them tightly and draining their primordial spirits until they were nothing but withered corpses. A chorus of terrified screams echoed through the mountains. From a distance, Xiao Cheng watched and called out, "You've devoured all 100 of my men. Shouldn't you give me something in return?" Instantly, the hand shot out and grabbed him as well. He was terrified. But as he drew near, the hand transferred a surge of green energy into him before dropping him to the ground. A deep, terrifying voice rumbled from within the cave. "Let's make a deal. Bring me 1,000 souls within 49 days. What I just gave you was a down payment, the Ye Hun art. If you succeed, I will grant your every desire." Back at the mountain, manor, Ye Chen was training diligently in the way of the sword, but it seemed his efforts were in vain. He couldn't understand why he couldn't release even a wisp of sword qi. I can barely use any of the Daewoo sword's power. He grew anxious. With the competition drawing near, he still hadn't grasped the true essence of the sword path. He decided to postpone his training and focus on refining the life force he'd absorbed from Xiao Cheng. Recalling the mantra the princess had taught him, he sat down, formed a hand seal, and began to chant. He fell into a deep trance, closing his lips, breathing softly, guiding the wild energy as a dragon hibernates, gathering the power to move mountains. His spiritual sense reaching for the void as his two eyes became one. He used the force of his own lifeblood to shatter the bottleneck in his meridians, letting the energy surge through his channels, completing a minor heavenly cycle. So focused was he that he didn't even notice the princess's visit. Mo Lao observed him and realized, his dragon elephant mystic demon art has advanced yet another small realm. The princess was overjoyed to hear this, but also worried. His current strength has already surpassed Xiao Cheng's. But there's no telling what kind of dirty tricks that man will pull. At that very moment, Xiao Cheng was still clinging to life. Khan's examination revealed a devastating truth. His lifeblood was depleted, his vital energy shattered. Healing his body would be a miracle, but his days of wielding a sword were likely over. A deep frown etched itself onto Toussaint's face. As the second young master of the legendary Violet Sword Manor, a life without the blade was a fate worse than death. He worried his younger brother wouldn't be able to handle this crushing reality. He sighed. I warned him not to go. If only he could be more like you and cause me less worry. He then pulled out a tattered, ancient manual and handed it to his son, Xiao Qing. When he wakes up, give this to him. I must go into seclusion. This was the form-shifting scripture, passed down by the Xiao family ancestors, suitable only for those born with weak qi and frail bodies. He never imagined they would have a need for it now. Meanwhile, at the Ye residence, Ye Linger was studying the classic of mountains and seas. She was reading about a creature described as a 9-headed snake. She was at the most interesting part when that pest Xiao Cheng arrived to bother her again. The discourteous fiend slowly approached her with a twisted grin, saying nothing. Annoyed, she finally snapped and asked what business he had here. He answered in a slithering voice, I came to visit you, little cousin. It seems being locked away has only made you more beautiful. His disgusting tone made her feel sick to her stomach, but she refused to give him a reaction. She silently cursed him. You shameless, two-faced hypocrite. As she turned to leave, his voice suddenly echoed behind her. Besides, our 3-month pact is almost up. You'll be needing that pouch soon. Tieu ni. Her face turned ashen as she seethed. "You tyrant! Just you wait!" Meanwhile, inside the training chamber, the princess and Elder Mo watched intently as Ye Chen began to awaken the legendary dragon elephant demonic art model. As his energy recovered, he declared, "The dragon elephant demon subduing art is about to awaken once more. The 3-month promise is almost here, and now, I finally have a chance." The princess, her worry clear, revealed her true feelings. "Even my second cousin couldn't defeat you. Perhaps even Ye Qingtian is not your match. But knowing his personality, he will never let you and Ye be together." The mention of his sister stirred something in him. The princess quickly reassured him, "Don't worry, I will make sure you two are safely reunited." Suddenly, Yungang burst in from outside, his face etched with panic. "We have a huge problem." Elder Mo slowly asked what happened, but he was stunned by the report. "General Wang has passed away. Wang Tianyi, who commands 100,000 of our Holy Court's troops." Elder Mo analyzed the situation grimly. The first prince has always harbored ambitions to devour the world. Now that Wang Tianyi holds military power, I fear our Holy Court is about to declare war on the surrounding nations. Ye Shen, still naive to the world's politics, was confused. As a general, shouldn't he be serving His Majesty? Why would he listen to the first prince? The princess explained, "Old General Wang was loyal to my father, but his son has been with the first prince for a long, long time." This worried Elder Mo deeply. Wang Tianyi is narrow-minded and arrogant. I'm afraid the first prince will be manipulated into sending our troops to the battlefield. Ye Shen finally realized the gravity of the situation. This man and our princess's estate are enemies. We absolutely cannot let Her Highness, Tianji, fall into his hands. The heavenly dog predicted that a great war was on the horizon for humanity. Everyone feared that the appearance of Zhu Yan would make things even more complicated. If that beast truly awakens, this Shanhai continent will be thrown into utter chaos. This so-called Zhu Yan is a divine beast residing on Mount Shaoqi. It has the form of an ape, with a white head and bare feet. Its appearance signals a massive war. And in no time, the Beirong nation found itself facing a devastating storm. Wang Tianyi and the first prince were leading 100,000 soldiers, surrounding the Holy Court's border. They were preparing to attack. The one-eyed Wang Tianyi glanced at the prince, reminding him, "Don't forget our agreement." The prince replied, "If we conquer Beirong, the princess will be yours." Hearing those words, Wang Tianyi roared to his troops, "Charge!" They stormed the city, all for the sake of fighting over a beautiful woman. A war was about to begin. With the day of the duel approaching, Ye Shen trained day and night without rest. He was surprised when Xiao Shan entered. It had been a long time since his senior brother had visited. Ye Shen felt a sense of dread. He's not here to cause trouble over Xiao Yucheng, is he? He's already at the divine power realm, while I'm only at the mid-stage of the spirit condensation realm. But contrary to his dark thoughts, Xiao Shan was simply there to check on his martial arts training. He began to lecture. "Before father went into seclusion, he tasked me with overseeing your training. Yet you haven't even touched your sword once. How am I supposed to report this to him?" Ye Shen scratched his head, trying to explain. "It's because I have to go to the Azure Cloud platform tomorrow." But before he could finish, his senior brother cut him off. "To neglect your training because of a single match? That is a great taboo among martial artists." Xiao Shan continued to lecture him endlessly. Ye Shen couldn't help but think how much he sounded like his father. The non-stop nagging was giving him a headache, until the princess walked in to save him. "Senior cousin, are you chanting scriptures again?" Caught mid-sentence, a displeased Xiao Shan turned, greeted her, and took his leave. The princess turned to Ye Shen, asking how his preparations for tomorrow's duel were going. Ye Shen admitted his worries. "I'm not afraid of a direct fight, but that Ye Qingcheng always uses dirty tricks. It's hard to guard against them, and my sister is still in their hands." Before he could finish, the princess snapped. "Is your sister the only one in your heart? Am I not important to you at all?" Backed into a corner, Ye Shen stammered an excuse. I am your guard. I will protect you for the rest of my life." Hearing his smooth words, the princess's anger subsided. Blushing, she reminded him, "Don't you forget that promise," before quickly running off. Meanwhile, at the Ye residence, Ye Qingcheng was hatching a sinister plot. "Ye Linger, it's time to fulfill your part of the bargain." He threatened her while holding a vial of potent poison. She was forced to obey because he had promised not to kill Ye Shen. Opening the vial, a dark, ominous aura rose from it. She hesitated, but after he confirmed it wouldn't be dangerous to Ye Shen, they both consumed the poison as agreed. As she walked away, he smirked to himself, "Foolish woman," but he had no idea that this was all part of Ye's plan. All three were determined. Tomorrow, they would destroy their enemy and end this feud once and for all. Early the next morning, the air on the Azure cloud platform was heavy and ominous. The family head, Ye Tianxiong, questioned his son's plan. He was met with a confident reply, "Father, rest assured, my plan is flawless." After hearing his scheme to use Yer against Ye Shen, they all burst into triumphant laughter, as if victory was already in their grasp. Seeing such despicable villains, Yun Gang couldn't help but sneer. "We'll see who's dead by the end of this." Elder Mo warned Ye Shen. "They've definitely prepared something. You cannot be careless, Ye Shen." Seeing that group of scoundrels, Ye Shen's anger blazed. These dogs think they've already won. The princess, her face filled with worry, grabbed Ye Shen's hand to calm him. "You just focus on the fight. As for your sister, I have already made arrangements." Ye Shen felt a bit shy with her so close. "Thank you, Your Highness." She immediately frowned. "Still calling me that? After you win, you are forbidden from using those two words." The others looked on, envious of their blatant display of affection. Suddenly, the sound of a drum echoed, drawing everyone's attention. It was time to ascend the stage. As soon as they met, Ye Qingcheng sneered. "Long time no see. You seem to be in high spirits." Ye Shen shot back. "Cut the nonsense. Where is my sister? Don't be so hasty. Look over there." He callously gestured to the side, signaling for Ye Linger to be brought out. Seeing his sister, Ye Shen was overcome with emotion. She was being restrained by a masked expert. Hidden in the trees, Xiaoshan was observing as the princess had asked. "So this is the Ye Linger she spoke of. There's no fluctuation of origin energy from her. She's weak. And being used as a bargaining chip. How pathetic." The rules were announced. On the Azure cloud platform, life and death are decided by fate. No one is to interfere. Both fighters began to channel their energy. They had both reached the mid-stage of the spirit condensation realm. Yi Qingcheng was surprised. To reach this level in just 3 months, he had no idea Elder Mo had given him a dragon transformation pill. Without it, how could he have advanced so quickly? As Ye Shen prepared to charge forward, his opponent stopped him. "Hold on, Ye Shen. Do you know what this is? I doubt even the princess's estate has a pill like this." He revealed a single pill. It was a dazzling spirit dan that shone with brilliant light. He laughed maniacally. "This divine pill can absorb the essence of heaven and earth. Once its power revolves 99 times 81 cycles in my dantian, I can instantly ascend to the next realm, a power boost that only lasts for 12 hours. Ye Qingcheng immediately consumed it. A powerful aura erupted from within him, signaling his breakthrough. He had reached the late stage of the spirit condensation realm. This caught Ye Shen completely off guard. He had never witnessed someone break through a minor realm in an instant. The elder and the princess recognized the item. It was from the first prince's mansion. Even the princess didn't possess such a fine treasure. The elder's face turned grim, wondering why the first prince was meddling in the Ye family's affairs. Suddenly, on the stage, another shockwave erupted. Ye Qingcheng had broken through again, reaching the peak of the spirit condensation realm. Down below, the family heads were overjoyed. To continuously jump 2 realms to the peak, it seemed this top-grade pill meant Qingcheng was highly valued by the first prince. This time, Ye Shen was like a fish on a chopping block, completely at Qingcheng's mercy. Even Ye Qingcheng himself was surprised by the pill's effect, and he sneered at Ye Shen. "Still not backing down?" Ye Shen just scoffed. "Can't win on your own, so you resort to drugs? Truly, a peerless genius." The taunt hit its mark, leaving Qingcheng speechless with rage. He turned his glare towards Yair. "If you surrender now, perhaps I'll let you reminisce with your dear sister before you die." The vile threat made Ye Shen's blood boil. He surged forward, his power flaring. "The dragon-elephant demonic art has awakened its southern continent heaven stage," he thought. "Why should I fear this pathetic drug-fueled realm?" Below, Wen Gang was still confident Ye Shen would win. That other kid, 𝒌𝒔, was also at the peak of the spirit condensation realm, and Ye Shen had nearly drained him dry. After that, Zhou Wu and Tian Gu also agreed this match wasn't very interesting. Even their training was more exciting. Ye Qingcheng finally attacked, unleashing his frigid ice snow technique. 3 razor-sharp ice spears materialized and shot toward Ye Shen. He just scoffed. Using the same old trick again? In a flash, he formed a hand seal, and a sphere of energy appeared as a shield. The ice spears shattered against it like glass. Seeing his attack so easily nullified, he summoned a colossal ice block. "Taste my frigid ice needle," he roared. But Ye Shen saw nothing special about it. He focused his power into one fist and shattered it with a direct punch. "This is your frigid ice needle? You call something this big a needle?" Suddenly, from the audience, the princess and Wen Gang shouted in alarm, warning Ye Shen. Qing Cheng had rapidly transformed, the shattered fragments into a storm of ice needles. They were aimed straight at Ye Shen. Only then did he realize the trap. He was surrounded on all sides with nowhere to escape. The needles rained down on him, and he collapsed in agony as his aura began to fade. Every last one of them had penetrated his meridians. Qing Cheng smiled triumphantly. He swaggered forward, gloating over his foe. "What's the matter, Ye Shen? My frigid ice needle turns 1 into 1,000. There's no escape. Once inside your body, it quickly seals off all your meridians, causing your spiritual power to vanish. Can you feel it? Your spiritual power is completely sealed. Impossible to use," Ye Tiansheng explained. The frigid ice needle is the highest level of the frigid ice art. How could a wet-behind-the-ears brat like Ye Shen possibly resist it? The elder beside him quickly chimed in, "Congratulations, young master, on your easy victory." On the other side, Wen Gang looked to Elder Mo. Ye Shen's condition seemed grave. But the elder wasn't worried, knowing Ye Shen had a way to counter it. And he was right. Deep inside Ye Shen's body, one place remained untouched, his dantian. From it, a true fire erupted, incinerating the ice and clearing his meridians completely. He appeared right beside his opponent and asked, "Do you know?" Qing Cheng, still confident, asked what he was talking about. Ye Shen's face turned grim. "You talk far too much." Instantly, Ye Shen's explosive dragon elephant aura burst forth, startling Ye Qing Cheng. Impossible. His meridians were sealed. How can he still use his spiritual power? In that moment, the energy coalesced into the clear form of a dragon elephant. "My spiritual energy is overwhelming, and I should thank you for that last attack." Leaping backward, Qisheng created an ice shield as Ye Shen charged forward to attack. Unleashing the dragon elephant demonic art, he advanced with immense pressure that terrified Qing Cheng. Though he trusted his shield, a single palm strike shattered it instantly, sending him flying several meters away. The Ye family heads turned pale. This kid, he had actually crossed 2 levels to defeat Qing Cheng. To think he had mastered the dragon elephant demonic art to such a degree. Outwardly, Ye Hong dismissed it as luck, but inwardly, he was filled with regret. He never imagined this technique could be so powerful. He had truly underestimated this kid. Ye Qing Cheng staggered to his feet, wiping away blood, his heart burning with indignation. In just 3 short months, Ye Shen had become this powerful. Meanwhile, Wen Gang and Elder Mo were ecstatic. The past 3 months of training had clearly paid off. He was indeed far superior to Ye Qing Cheng. Seizing the opportunity, Ye Shen channeled his energy into his hand and rushed forward to deliver a finishing blow. Ye Qing Cheng panicked. He screamed, "Stop, do you want to kill your own sister?" The fist halted just inches from Ye Qing Cheng's face. Ye Shen growled, asking what he meant. At that moment, he smiled cruelly and pointed towards Yer. Ye Shen watched in horror as she coughed up blood. Xiao Shan was furious. "You've gone too far." Ye Qing Cheng saw this as a golden opportunity and sneered at Ye Shen. "If you won't attack, then I won't be so polite." This time, he unleashed his extreme frigid ice. The ring on his hand transformed into a sharp, double-edged ice dagger. He took his stance and leaped at Ye Shen, who was already prepared. He unleashed the dragon elephant radiant claw. A spiraling aura of a dragon elephant formed a protective shield around him. As expected, the moment the ice dagger struck, it shattered to pieces. He could slash all day and never get through. However, Ye Qing Cheng spotted a weakness. He created more ice daggers and laughed maniacally. "I'd like to see how long your little protective barrier can last." Wave after wave, Ye Qing Cheng attacked relentlessly, but the ice shattered every time it made contact. At this rate, Ye Shen knew his spiritual energy would run out. Ye Qing Cheng, who was also growing tired, was just as worried. "Damn it, my own energy is almost gone, and I haven't even dented his turtle shell." His father, noticing, threw him a weapon. He caught it with a grin. "Thank you, father, for the frigid ice sword. This is a divine weapon of the Ye clan, forged from an extraterrestrial stone. With this, I refuse to believe your turtle shell won't break." "Break for me," he roared, swinging the sword with all his might. As expected, a single slash shattered the protective barrier, sending Ye Shen flying as he coughed up blood. That's all for this part, everyone. Remember to like and share to motivate Go to release more amazing series. If you have any requests, just comment below, and Go will read them.